Welcome, everyone, to Talented Universe on the NDB Media Network. It is the 28th day of January in 2026. Before I introduce our guest, Marcia, how are you doing? My
I
co-host
am.
today.
I'm doing great. Yes, I still have my Happy New Year sign up there. I've got what 3 more days while I can display that. Then I'll have to think of something else. But Happy New Year, everybody! I'm ready to go.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. And I would like to introduce our special guest. I hope I get your last name pronounced correctly. Andrew, is it Vogel?
It's Vogel.
It's Vogel. Ah, good. I wasn't after I said, oh, I forgot to ask him to make sure, but
No,
it's like,
all
oh
good.
no, I'll take a chance. I'll take a chance.
Nailed
Well,
it.
well, Andrew, let me get off the stupid vertical questions over with first.
Hey, no worries.
When did you start doing verticals, and how did you get into it?
I started verticals about a year and a half ago, I guess. And honestly, I just started self-submitting on Actors Access, and then eventually my agent was involved in things, and so now I'm working through my agent as well at Eris Talent, Tina. But yeah, I started about a year and a half ago. As many of us vertical actors know, it's much of the only thing that's working right now. If you're an actor, it's if you go to the breakdowns, it's all verticals. Then there's many productions shooting at once right now, and it's employing a lot of the industry. So yeah,
Which is nice.
grateful for verticals.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Um, After you did your first one, and you had to explain to your friends what it was, if they kind of gave you funny looks, if you told them you were doing a vertical drama and they just kind of stared at you, how did you explain it to them?
Yeah, I explained it to them as this new industry that is booming overseas, and a multi-billion-dollar industry in China, and that is employing a lot of the industry right now, and that are a lot of fun to be a part of, and that are sort of like soap operas for your phone, in a sense. So I've sort of explained it like that.
Yeah, well, that's a good one. That's a lot of people have said similar things. Um, when did you? What, see, about a year and a half ago, you started. When
Yeah.
was your first one released? Do you remember that you had done?
I'm not sure when the first one was released exactly. I mean, probably around this, a year, in a couple. They released relatively
They
fast. So
relative. Most of them are fast. Yeah.
yeah, I remember one of the first ones I did was a boxing one, and I was like the primary antagonist, and yeah, that released a couple months after I had done it, and that one was a lot of fun.
Mhm. Well, that's good. Marcia, I'm going to go ahead to you, and then I am going to get the chat room ready.
Okay. Wow, Andrew. So you are originally from New Orleans.
I
Now,
am.
did you grow up there as well, or?
Yep, born and raised in New Orleans, just outside. Yeah.
Yeah. And so when you were in New Orleans and you were growing up, was it always your goal to become an actor or
Yeah, so I'd always done theater growing up, so that's kind of where I started, and I never thought of it as a actual career path. And I went to school for psychology at LSU, and was planning to, be a psychologist, and kind of pivoted towards film at a certain point, and got a cool role on a show called Under the Dome,
oh yeah.
and had a few episodes. I was like, oh wow, maybe I can actually do this. And of course, that was a bit of beginner's luck, but it was cool to do that. And it definitely, and I was doing a film
Mm.
acting class, and I realized how passionate I was for it, and it became a no plan B situation where I was just like, hey, this is it for me. This is all I'm doing forever.
Mhm.
And that was I kind of just made up my mind at a certain point after college, and haven't looked back.
Mhm. Well, it's kind of amazing that that one of your first roles was in a TV network series.
Yeah.
Because I actually watched that show when it came on.
Yeah.
I did too. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
I mean, wow.
I know. I got really lucky, and I thought that was the way it was, and I was wrong. I was lucky. especially for it to be a a multi-episode arc like it was. So I was like, oh, well, this is pretty easy, and
Yeah.
it has not been that way since.
Mhm.
But I've
Well,
had some luck and some good streaks.
mhm.
And yeah, but no, it's been quite a journey.
Yeah, because your role, you were Carter
Yeah,
on, and you kind of started off as a little bit of a bully, and
exactly. Totally a bully.
mhm. But then you became a like a deputy kind of.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I thought they were gonna keep leaning into that bully kind of antagonistic role, but then
Mhm.
yeah, I became part of the deputy squad and
Mhm.
eventually got shot in the knee and never
Yeah.
saw me again.
So, so I was gonna say, so what happened to Carter?
Yeah,
Do you have a theory?
yeah, I think he got shot in the knee, went to the hospital, and that
Mhm.
was that. I guess he never made it
Mhm.
back to the town. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
He never
that
recovered.
series, a Stephen King story
Yeah.
too.
Uh-huh.
Had you read anything about that story before becoming a part of it?
No, no, I looked into it after, of course,
Mhm.
but I was familiar with Stephen King and all,
Mhm.
but wasn't familiar with Under the Dome.
Mhm.
It's a pretty cool idea, a cool concept for a show and story. So
Yeah. One of the stark images that I remembered was one of the probably it was the first episode where the cows got cut in half when the dome came down.
yes. Yes, exactly. Yeah, that
I'm
was
like,
crazy.
ick.
I do remember that, yeah.
When when you were shooting that series, how was it to was it did they try to make it a little claustrophobic for you, or
Um,
because you were supposed to be under a dome, you were cloistered, and do you remember?
I never not not that I can really remember anything
Mm-hmm.
specific with trying to make it like you feel like you're in a dome because it was
Yeah.
a very expansive dome, so it was sort
Mm-hmm.
of normal life within it, just with things
Mm-hmm.
getting a bit more crazy
Cut
and
in half.
intense. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. And I have to say, you've had a couple of I don't know, I wouldn't say luck. It's it's your ability and the recognition that people have of your ability to put you in a role like that, because I understand that somebody saw you and actually kind of picked you for that role. Is that right?
for Under the Dome.
Yeah. Mhm.
Oh, sure, yeah, it was a normal audition process, and
Mhm.
um, but yeah, I remember it was a tape, and then it was an in-person callback, I believe in Atlanta,
Mhm.
if I'm remembering right.
Mhm.
Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
a normal audition process there.
Yeah. And since we're kind of in the Wayback Machine, yes, Michael,
Yeah,
I love the Wayback Machine.
I don't mind.
I I also love that you were able to work with Robert Redford in
Yeah,
A Walk in the Woods and Nick Nolte. I
yeah,
mean, come on.
yeah. Career highlight for sure. That was a very memorable experience
Mhm.
for me, and getting to work with them, and
Mhm.
yeah, that was really cool. And we shot about an hour north of Atlanta,
Mhm.
actually on the Appalachian Trail, I think it was like the beginning of the trail, something like
Oh.
that. And
Mhm.
uh, and yeah, and that was such a cool experience. And he was super nice, introduced himself.
Okay.
He was there at the callback. He read with me at the callback, which was that
Oh,
alone. I was like,
wow.
nothing else happens. This is
Wow.
awesome. Like, yeah, it was, and I made him laugh in the callback. I remember that. So that was super exciting because I was like improving around my lines a little bit and things. Um,
Mhm.
it was really cool. And then Nick Nolte was amazing. Nick Nolte was way more extroverted than Robert Redford was, and
Oh.
he was trying to find gold in the river. He was like panning. He literally had like a plate, and he was sifting through the gravel in the river. He's like,
Yeah.
"There's got to be gold in this river." He's like, "I know back in the day," and he's like trying to convince everybody that there's gold in the
Mhm.
river. And but he
Mhm.
was awesome. He was super
Mhm.
fun and lively, and Robert Redford was just as calm and polite, would sit to himself and read the newspaper, and
Mhm.
just very, very nice people. And both of my scenes were just with them too, and the other hikers. So
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun to do that. And yeah, like I said, definitely a career highlight.
Mhm. And then, one scene where you're asking them or offering to be nice and taking their backpacks with the
Yeah.
well,
Yeah. Yeah, that was really fun. I remember I had done all this improv around it, and I thought they were going to
mhm,
let me do more. And then the script supervisor was like, "Oh no, we just have to keep." I was like, "Oh, okay." I thought we were going to have
mhm,
some fun with it, but
mhm,
anyway, it was such a fun scene to work with them,
mhm,
and yeah, and we were like these hikers who could easily get across the river, and we're offering to help them with their bags, and they're like, "No, we don't need your help. We're fine." And we're like, "Hey, it's pretty
mhm,
easy for us. We can definitely help you." And they're like, "No, no, no."
mhm.
And and
And then
eventually we come
afterward,
back. We come back in the end, and they fall. I don't think it's a big spoiler at this point, but they fall, and we're
yeah.
able to come back in the end and actually help them get back up.
Mhm. Mhm. And then also in the first scene when I'm sure you read the script, but after you pass by and Robert Redford and Nick Nolte have a little exchange. Oh, they were nice guys. And
Yeah,
and one of them says, "Yeah, I hate them."
yeah, he's like, me too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know, that was really funny.
Yeah, yeah. So when and that was what about 10 years ago, I think, right?
Yeah, that was a while ago. Yeah, something
But
like that.
still, but as you add you have a TV series, you've got working with stars already. I mean, where do you go from there?
Yeah, well, then I moved to Los Angeles,
Mm,
and I was also kind of simultaneously producing. So I still have always done acting, and I, have continued to do that and do films and shows here and there, and now verticals. But I also
yes,
produce, and that's a huge part of what I do. Honestly, is producing. So I produce
your
movies,
production
features, and
company.
yeah,
Yeah.
with my production company, VP Independent. My partner
Hmm.
Suzanne, we produce features, and I've done a few, and that's a big focus of ours as well, is making our own content and acting in it as well. But yeah, creating our own opportunities, and at the end of the day, hey, we love making movies.
Hmm. And since you are talking about your production company VP
VP
and
Independent, yeah.
yeah, and the Dirty South,
Hmm.
which was a very interesting movie.
You checked
Which
it out?
yes, I did.
Oh, cool. Thanks for watching it.
And well, Willa Holland was also in a show that I like, Arrow. She was
Yep.
in the Arrow, so that was another reason to look at it. But I love the way you when you were creating it, you reached out to a lot of people to tell them what you were doing and for support so when you create something an independent feature like that, how important is it to do that type of thing?
It's very important to build a community if you can
Mm-hmm.
around. I mean, in a lot for a lot of reasons, publicity is one reason, but also sometimes it can help with financing. If for independent film, you need a community who supports it, who might be willing to financially back you. And that was part of we had done an initial Seed and Spark campaign, and before
Yes.
and that was honestly before we really got going, but that seeded our development. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, so it's really important, and our writer director Matthew Irby is really great and he already kind of had this built-in community and was
Mm-hmm.
sort of a hometown hero in Natchitoches, Louisiana, where we shot it,
Yeah.
and so he kind of had his built-in community that we were able to tap into for this, and still we have a great community for the film even now,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Oh,
only grown.
really? Yeah, I looked at some of your pre-filming videos that you did, kind of introducing people to what it was about and how you
Ah,
wrote the script
yeah,
and
yeah.
and also how to pronounce the name
Na-
of the city where you
Natchitoches. It's spelled Natchitoches, but it's
it's about
Natchitoches.
yeah, and you had a lot of support, like you said, from the community itself
Hmm.
because there was one thing you mentioned that you needed a piece of heavy equipment, I think.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So the community there in Natchitoches, we had a lot of location help. We had but it was amazing. Anytime I remember somebody locked their keys in their car, and then somebody would come out and fix it and open the car up, and then we had engines wouldn't start, and somebody would come out and help it. But one time we needed a tractor, and next thing we know, we called up a few people, and somebody's driving down a side street with a tractor for us. We needed
That's
a
amazing.
boat or a hog. We actually had a hog. Someone came with a hog and most of this was free of charge. They would just come with it.
You
So it was
mean
pretty amazing.
a live hog or a hog?
A live hog. Yeah, we had a live hog that someone came with. Just and it actually ends the film as you see the hog in the cage.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah. And you said that even now that you maintained and continue to grow that relationship with the community.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they're still super involved, and we try to keep the promotion alive for it, and keep it's but the community has definitely been super supportive, and still liking, commenting, and talking about the film, which we really appreciate.
Are you able to talk about what your production company might be doing next or be involved in now?
Sure. Yeah. So I actually just had my writer-director debut, a film called Herman, that we just released in December. So that's a feature film, a psychological thriller. So we're in the process of releasing that. It's available on Prime now. You can check it out. And so we have that out there. And then we have another film called Dead Giveaway. And that's with Michaela Hoover, Ruby Modine, and Scout Taylor Compton. And that's a comedy horror or comedy thriller. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of like a female version of The Hangover, where they wake up with this dead body. And
I love that movie. Okay.
It's really fun. Yeah, it's really fun. So anyway, we're releasing that this year. So that's finishing up posts and finding its path. And then we have a slate of others that we're developing, and a few more that we hope to get going this year. So yeah, we're always hustling and trying to get the next one going.
That sounds great. Michael, did you want to take it for a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Andrew, who are your major influences in your either producing, directing careers or your acting career? Do you have some people that you look up to in those fields that you try to emulate?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of inspiration comes from movies in general, just being inspired by like some of my favorite movies, and that's favorite directors as well, like Fincher and Aronofsky are some of my favorite directors that I've always loved watching their films and get inspired by as a filmmaker. And as an actor, I mean, there's so many amazing actors. I could go through the list of the DiCaprios and Gyllenhaals, and some of my favorites. But yeah, I've always honestly just been really inspired by the independent filmmaking community and other filmmakers, friends, and people, colleagues that are making things. And I've always really enjoyed just making stuff and making creative projects, and bringing something from script all the way through completion has always been super exhilarating for me, I guess, and a passion of mine. So I've always really enjoyed that and been inspired by the process of it.
And if you could choose, living or dead, who would be your ideal co-star that you would just love to work with?
That's a really that's a good question. I am a big Leonardo DiCaprio fan, and everything he does, I'm continually blown away, like one battle after another. Every role he does, I'm like, that it feels better than the last or equally as good in the movies he chooses. So I would say Leo would be a pretty
high up there.
Yeah, definitely.
It sounds like that you seem to be, you would rather create versus acting. Is that correct, or is it kind of depends what you're in the mood for?
It depends what I'm in the mood for. That's exactly right. I love creating stuff. But acting is also my first love. And acting is an easier job in a lot of ways in comparison to producing. You know, for acting, it's not easier emotionally necessarily, but it's easier in the sense of you show up, you do your job, and you leave, and you're not responsible for the totality of the production like you are
Mm-hmm.
as a producer. You know, that's nice too when you get treated nice and you show up and you do your job and you leave and
And you
that's
go
it.
home and sit, not worry about
Yeah,
anything.
yeah, exactly. Producing is much different as well as directing, but it is as a filmmaker, it's there's definitely something magical about taking something all the way from an idea through a finished product that people can view and experience, and then you can talk about it with them. That's a next level thing to me, creative thing for me. So I like both. Like you said, it kind of depends on where I'm at in life or a given day or a given year. But I definitely like both.
Well, that's good. Would you, when you do have free time, if ever, what do you enjoy doing?
it's um it's tough, because I love uh, filmmaking and the industry I'm in so much. So it's like, oh, I love watching movies. Well, that could be considered work, but I do. I love
Yeah,
watching
yeah,
movies.
yeah.
You know, that's. But I like reading. I like watching movies. I like writing. Again, that could be considered work, but that's why we do this business, is to make our hobbies and passions our job. And so I love writing. I've written a few screenplays, and so that's a big hobby and passion of mine. Is I'm always coming up with new ideas and trying to form a plot out of it. And so I'd say, yeah, those things. But other non-film related things, I enjoy
Mhm.
camping and hiking and traveling when I can, and seeing family and all those things as well.
Would you ever attempt to write a vertical and produce it?
I'd maybe be open to it if a certain opportunity presented itself. I haven't put too much thought into it yet, but I'd be particularly interested if I could put my own kind of spin on it and do something that I was interested in, like maybe make it more like I personally am into like psychological type movies. So if I could
Hmm.
maybe bridge into that world a little bit with one, I would definitely be interested in that case.
Yeah, there are branching out to a lot of different things
Yeah.
versus what they were a year ago.
That's very true. Yeah.
So possible. So
Yeah. I'm seeing all sorts of them now, and some of them are varying in quality as well. You're starting to see higher
yeah,
quality ones,
yeah.
some higher quality stories, SAG's getting involved. So, um,
Mhm.
yeah, it's definitely becoming more mainstream.
Yeah, and it's changing every day. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've noticed it, and Marcia's noticed it,
Oh yeah.
and it is nice because I mean, when I started, 50%, 60% of all the titles had billionaire in them.
Right. Yeah.
And then I started seeing CEOs and vampires and werewolves,
Mm-hmm.
mafia.
Yeah.
And now there's different stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
it's really cool. It's really cool.
Yeah. There's a wide variety now, so it is interesting, and it's fun. It's a fun. It's kind of like a new ground floor, which I didn't know that there was going to be new ground
Mhm.
floors in Hollywood, but this seems to be one, which is
It seems to be
interesting to be
one.
a part of the ground floor of this new movement.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with the current formats of them, is there a genre that you prefer to be in, or does it really depend on the script itself?
Um, it kind of depends on the script, I would say. I have enjoyed, again, a personal taste thing, but I like the sci-fi. So I've
Mhm.
done a couple that have been, someone gets trapped in space or goes to space and finds a new boyfriend in space. But
Yeah,
I've
because there
enjoyed
are
some of
lots of
those.
boyfriends up there, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're meeting new boyfriends left and right in space.
Hmm.
Um, But I've enjoyed those. It just, that's the type of films I like, and shows are tend to be sci-fi or psychological. So, but I do like those. Those are fun.
Okay, I'm just going to throw something out there. If you
Sure.
had the opportunity to be in the potential rumored new Star Wars trilogy, would you do it?
Yeah, I think so.
Just a little bit.
Heck, I'd
Yeah,
be
just
in
a
it.
little bit. I think I would 1000% do that.
Yeah, Marsha, go ahead. You can explore that realm if you want to.
You're talking about titles and keywords that are found in a lot of the titles of verticals.
Yeah.
There was one title that just made me laugh. Alpha Queen claimed by her contracted sugar pup.
That's funny.
Huh?
Yeah, there's some wild ones for sure. I could go through some call sheets and pull some, but yeah, the two that I have in my credits here, "Tell Me What You Want," "Heartstrings," were two of the more normal, better titles. I was like, "Heartstrings and
Mm-hmm.
Lies," that's a nice title.
Mm-hmm.
But some of them most of them, I would say, are really crazy.
And I've learned, because I'm still kind of new to the vertical scene, that the titles have to be unique because you have to find them. Because if they're named just sort of run of the mill, you really can't search for it and find it. But
True.
there's only going to be one Alpha Queen contracted by her sugar
Right.
pup, and you're right
That
there.
that's true, and you kind of know exactly what you're getting when you click on something like that. You're like, all right, I think I know what this is going
Hmm.
to be. So there's an element of on the nose marketing with all of these, I think.
Hmm. And I've seen you play a variety of types of characters in your verticals, and you played a store manager in the Christmas Twin Miracle.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, yeah, that was a really fun role actually. That was pretty recent. That wasn't that
Yeah,
long ago.
it was
But
it's listed as 2026 actually.
yeah, okay. I guess that's when it came out.
Hmm.
Sometimes those types of roles are the most fun, because you go in, and it's those types of characters tend to be more extreme and fun to play with. So
Hmm.
I remember having a blast that day. It was,
Hmm.
yeah, it was a lot of fun.
When you get a role like that, what do they tell you about
The
what you can do?
Oh, honestly, not much. A lot of times you do it in the audition, and on verticals, it's very run and gun, fast and loose, or sometimes fast and tight, but definitely fast. You're definitely there's not a ton of time to think through everything, and you're lucky if you get a decent rehearsal. But a lot of times you just have to be ready to go, which is
Hmm.
great experience as an actor because it's somewhat high pressure. By the time they're rolling, you have to be ready to go, and a lot of times they don't take too many breaks between the scene breaks. So
Mm.
sometimes it'll be four scenes in a row, and you just have to be ready to roll with it. So I know that now because I've done so many of these, but it's definitely it can be a little bit of a learning curve as an actor if you're used to a slower, more normal paced uh,
Hmm.
shooting schedule.
Hmm. And you came from the traditional. Now we have to call it something, the horizontal
Yeah,
um,
yeah, exactly.
world, and then so bringing it in closer. I understand that can be a little of a learning curve, so that y- you have to play it differently. Yep.
Yes, and so one of the biggest changes is with it being vertical is simply like everything's right here, so you have to stack the characters more. So you're very close with all the characters. It might not seem that way by the time you watch it, but when you're when you're filming it, a lot of times if I'm here, the other if there's two other actors, they're literally like right
Right there.
behind me, like you have to be that close, so
Hmm.
you can see everybody in the same frame. So I think that's the biggest difference, really.
Hmm.
Other than that, it's all acting, and they often like a particular style, which is can be
Mm-hmm.
a little on the nose or over the top sometimes, but
Yeah.
not always. And
Mm-hmm.
again, I've done a lot of theater, so I don't mind being over the top sometimes. I like being grounded as well, but if they want over the top, that can be a lot of fun. So I don't mind.
Mm-hmm. And outside of the verticals, I saw a short of yours called Paranoia.
Oh, that's
And
hilarious.
I was teasing you a little bit before about your different hairstyles
Yeah.
because your hair was longer.
That's so funny. I just put Paranoia on YouTube just because I was like, I was just sitting on a hard drive, so I put it
Mm-hmm.
on YouTube. But that's great. Thanks for checking that out. That was a lot of fun. That I did that years ago. It was honestly based on a true story of
Oh.
a friend that was dealing with something, and we
Mm-hmm.
made a short film out of it, and yeah, that was a lot of fun, and
Mm-hmm.
that was at a time when I was just getting into producing and just saying like, hey, like let me write something and let's just go make it. Let's figure out a way to shoot it, and I did a
Mm-hmm.
few short films like that back to back where I was just like, hey, let's just go do it.
Mm-hmm. Because I actually watched it twice because I was trying to figure some things out about here
Oh,
and
that's really cool
what
that you
was
watched
going
it.
on.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
So yeah, and it is, as you said, available on YouTube. So have you thought about expanding that or doing it
The
making it?
short that particular
Yeah.
short?
Uh-huh.
So, interestingly, Paranoia, has a lot of, like I just like I said, I wrote and directed Herman, my directorial debut, which is a feature that's out now. But I went back and thought about Paranoia because I was like, I think there's some strange similarities and in the
Mm.
film. So if you
Mm-hmm.
like some of those concepts, a lot of that's all in Herman, and that's a very psychological,
Aha.
trip
Mm-hmm.
down a man living in isolation psyche and how he confronts his past and his demons, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a, a journey,
Mm-hmm.
but it's got a lot of similarities in um, the type of horror it is, where it's more atmospheric, and the kind of confusion and the battles with his own mind, and a lot of that's all in Herman as well.
Yeah. So if when we watch Herman, will we see more psychological than blood and guts and stuff?
100%. Yeah, it's really
Okay,
not. I wouldn't consider it it's very atmospherically horror, like
I like
it's
that.
the
Mm-hmm.
rain and the storm and the
Mm-hmm.
lights flickering, but it's more of a psychological thriller. There's
Mm-hmm.
really very little blood and guts, if any. It's
Mm-hmm.
really a portrait of a man and his
And his.
exploration of his own kind of inner demons and the things that
Mm-hmm.
he's buried, and he goes on this journey to confront those. But on the surface, he's just being haunted by this force. So you think maybe it's
Mm-hmm.
a haunted cabin movie on the surface, but really it's about his own journey, and you learn that pretty quick.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I will definitely check that out.
please do.
No,
Yeah, it's not if you're not a horror person, you'll be fine.
Aces, and on a totally different area. I'm just because you do comedy, you do drama, you do the whole
Totally.
thing. I understand that you had a comedic rap group.
Oh, yeah, I sure did. Oh, I wonder how you found that. But, but yeah, I've always loved comedy and loved experimenting with different sketches and things. But, yeah, in college, I formed this group, called the Zookeepers. My friends are gonna get a kick out of this, but yeah, we were rappers, and um, we we were animals, and we would um, talk trash about other animals. So we would say like, "Hey, I'm a gorilla. I'm the best," or "I'm an alligator. I'm the best." And we would, and so we were called the Zookeepers, and that was a lot of fun. We made some videos,
Mhm,
and that was a wild little
mhm,
ride during college. I actually built a stage in college in my third story apartment where we would do performances, and
mhm,
we had a nice little group for a while. We had some people coming out from around the state to watch us do some ridiculous performances about animals.
And actually paid money to see you.
No, nobody paid money. Maybe for the keg.
Well, and thinking about, because vertical seems sort of like the Wild West. It's,
Yeah.
nobody really knows where it's going to go, and people with energy and creativity, it seems almost anything is possible at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very curious to see where it goes. And like I said, to be on the ground floor of something is really cool. And I think it's kind of exciting to see, because everybody, all the studios are going to want to be a part of this in some way. I
Yeah.
mean, it's obviously a lucrative business. So I'm curious to see where it all goes. And, someone was talking about people going to conventions soon and things like that. That'll be interesting. Like, having the actors doing vertical conventions and getting paid to go to conventions, and because there can be a lot of money to be made in
Hmm.
conventions for actors.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, it'll be interesting to see where this all goes. And it's not that different than other TV at a certain point, and I think that gap is shrinking even more as the quality goes up and the actors
Hmm.
get bigger, and they're including more actors. So it's yeah, I'm very curious to see where it all goes.
Hmm. It's interesting that you brought up conventions, because we've all heard of sci-fi conventions and things like that, and people say, well, I'm a super Star Trek or Star Wars fan, and then because I'm a super geek, and so's Michael, and I've been to lots of conventions, and I'll say, have you ever been to a convention? And they go like, no. And I think, well, why not? That's where the fun is. Have you ever been?
I've been briefly, but I was just shooting our film Dead Giveaway in Philly a couple of years ago, and there was a horror
Mhm.
convention, and we were with our actress Michaela Hoover, just did Superman, but she was known from some different horror movies, and she was, people were asking her to take pictures and things when we were there,
Mhm.
so that was a cool brief experience. I think I've done some type of conventions years back, but I definitely have yet to do like the full convention experience, which I think would be really fun.
Yeah, they are. I'll tell you that. So,
Yeah,
and one of my last questions is, I'd like to ask people about, there's so many reality shows, there are competitions, cooking shows, dancing shows, quiz
yeah.
shows, brain shows, military shows. So, Andrew, if you had to pick a reality show to be on, what do you think it might be?
Well, let me say this. So I did this show called Mystery Diners. Back in my first
Oh.
two roles in acting were on a show called Lizard Lick Towing, where I played like a guy out in the country with camo and a shotgun, and they were trying to repo my boat. And then also I did this show called Mystery Diners, where I was, going into a restaurant undercover and seeing how
Mhm.
the servers, if they would serve me bad food or give me bad service, and see how they
Mhm.
reacted. So recently, and that was fun. That was, years ago. But recently, I get a text from my niece, and she shows me this video on TikTok, and it's just me and Mystery Diners, and it's a clip from the show, and it's got like hundreds of millions of views. I was
Wow.
like, what? And so that resurfaced. So I'm not sure what other reality show I would do now, but that's my reality story at
That's
reality show story
he said,
right
I want I want to get paid. Where's
there. Yeah, I was like, do I get any residuals from this? But yeah,
Wow, that's amazing. I have
hey,
to
it's
check
cool that
that
people
out.
enjoy it. Yeah, yeah, Mystery Diners. But
Mystery
yeah, it's funny.
Diners.
I keep seeing new clips too.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
thank you so much for
yeah.
joining us. Michael, take it away.
Yeah, Andrew, thank you so much for being here. The chat room has been quiet. I
Yeah,
don't
thank you
like
for
that.
watching. But
It has
They're
been quiet.
watching, but they're not saying anything. But sometimes that happens. But
Hey, that's all good.
yeah, it's all good. It's all good. But Andrew, we'd love to have you back again, especially if some of your projects that you're doing on your own company
yeah,
come out. We'd
Yeah,
love to talk
I'll
to you
give you
more
my
about those.
reaction to Herman.
please
There
do.
you
That'd be
go.
great.
There you
Would love
go.
that. Yeah.
And Yeah, stay with us a little bit right after we go off air. But I'd like to thank everyone for coming. It's watching live or later. We know a lot of you look at later, and that's fine. But boy, if you can come live and
That's
throw
cool.
a question out to the guests, that's really cool.
Mhm.
So everyone take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Happy New Year.
Bye.
Happy New Year.